effects. Okay, so as you remember, when we do a timed writing test, we want to start by brainstorming, and we want to make an outline that has our thesis and 3 points. Okay, after we write, which is of course the biggest and most difficult part, we need to edit our essays. So that's what we're going to be focusing on, some of the different steps in this process today. But before we start, let's remember, what are some words that mean the same as effects? What are some words that mean the same, which are called synonyms of effect? If you know, you can say them. Go ahead.
Results.
Results. Consequences. Anything else?
Outcome.
Impacts. Okay, we can also say there are some words that mean negative effects.
Yeah.
That could be like advantages or benefits. Okay, and there are some words that are negative, like disadvantages. Okay, so those are only the positive, and that one's only the negative. Okay.
How about consequences? Are they usually positive, negative?
I think they are neutral, either positive or negative.
Okay.
Sometimes they are negative, like we say, sometimes they are negative, more like a slightly different use of the word, right? Like if we say, like, the mother gave a consequence to her child for doing something wrong. It's like a punishment, right?
Yeah.
Usually in this type of essay, we say like, one consequence of the change positive. It just means the same as result or effect. Okay, good. So we always want to focus on these, and we don't want to use these words, reasons. Okay, so don't be talking about reasons, because it will be wrong. Okay, we always want to keep focused on effects, not causes. Okay, and we also don't want to talk about causes. We're really focusing on effects or results, which are things that happened after. So the topic that we're going to look at today is what? Go ahead, Elon.
We use influence. Isn't it part of the words?
Yeah, we could use influences. That would be a good one. Yes. Very good. Sorry, we forgot that one. I forgot it. What are the effects of technology on higher education? Okay. So this, obviously, this essay that we are looking at tonight was written before the pandemic. But even before the pandemic and during the pandemic, we can see that technology has many effects. Technology makes many changes on higher education. So of course, higher education relates especially to college. So if you looked at the essay, or even if you didn't, it doesn't matter. What do you think are some of the results or some of the ways that technology has changed the college experience? How has technology changed the college experience? Does anyone have an idea?
Yeah, I think technology has changed the college experience in like education. Right now we are studying online. If there wasn't any technology, we wouldn't have due to the pandemic. So I think it has contributed in that path.
Yes, and I think that is such an important one. Allows for the continuance of education. And I think I told you guys before, I always tell my children this, but I think I should tell students, I know you guys know this better than them. In many times in the world, when there have been wars, a war, a disaster, an illness, like the coronavirus pandemic, another pandemic, a famine, something like this, many times education stops, right? And the whole country or area, people don't learn during that period of time. So in some ways, because of technology, we are able to continue, even if it is not the perfect continuation, it does allow us to continue. So thank you, Claudine. Okay, what are some other effects?
Another
Okay.
effect is that it
Uh-huh.
has bridged us. It has put us in different, as in, we are bridged. There's no way we're coming together, just meeting online and go. I can't meet
Yeah.
you face to face and then go. So I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about the negative way of the technology. Yeah, because with technology, okay, if it wasn't an online class right now, we would be in class. Oh, we would
I
be
know.
would be interacting, would be
Yeah.
knowing, yes. But none of us has seen each other face to face. None of us
Yeah.
know. None of us can find one person outside and recognize him or her that this is my classmate or not.
It's so true. When I was at the store this weekend, I was thinking that could be my student, and
You
I
see?
would not even know that person that I'm passing in the street or in the store is my student. I would not
Yes.
even know. So yes, it damages personal interaction. Okay, Alejandra added in the chat, it can save money. That is another effect. That is very true. Okay, what do you think about? So let's
Excuse
look.
me.
Go ahead.
Excuse me. We're saying it can save money, but on the other way, it's expensive as well.
Okay. Explain.
Coming to class, if I was coming to class, I wouldn't need a computer. I wouldn't need a printer. There are many things I wouldn't need because at campus I have allowance of printing 500 pages because I'm an upper student. But because I'm not at campus, I've got to get a printer, my own printer, buy
Yes.
paper, buy cartridge,
Yes.
It's kind of expensive.
However, you can print at Harper, but you have to go there to pick it up. Did you see that?
Yeah, we saw the news. I saw the news.
If you want to do that, you would be, yeah.
Can we say technology has how can I put this? Like it has I don't really have the word for it. Like varieties of lectures. Since right now we're online, we have varieties of materials, lectures.
Oh,
I don't
Yes.
really know how.
And I think this one was from one of these was, so, and actually that's very interesting. They talk about that in the article, in the essay. So I think we're going to take a minute to look over this essay together that someone wrote about this topic, which was actually called The Effects of Computers on Higher Education. So I hope you're able to see it. It is about effects. And I want to read it a little bit to talk about the style that they used that you could also use in your timed writing test. Or you can also, and we can also use it to practice the connecting words and sentence structure. So would someone actually like to read the first paragraph? Would someone like to read it aloud?
Aaron.
Thank you.
Through the ages, industrious individuals have continuously created convenience to make life easier. From the invention of the wheel of the light bulb, inventions have propelled society forward. One recent modern invention is the computer, which has improved many aspects of people's lives. This is especially true in the field of education. Therefore, because of computer technology, higher education today has three major conveniences. Lecture variety is a research and time-saving writing method. Sorry
Very
about that.
nice.
Sorry about
You
the
did
flow of my words because they are two tiny words and I'm trying to
make them bigger. Click on the plus in the
Yes, I'm
in the upper left. Try to click on the. Okay. It was great reading.
yeah.
Okay. So what I want to say is, okay, first of all, which connecting word should we use in this sentence? Therefore, computer technology higher education today has 3 major conveniences, or because of computer technology? Which one seems better to you? Therefore or because of?
Both of them.
Okay. Any other ideas?
Because of will be perfect. Because of computer technology.
Okay, only one is correct. And the correct one is actually because of. The correct one is actually because of. Now
Because of
why? Okay. So when we have, notice that after this word, we only have a noun. We only have a noun, which is computer technology. Okay. With therefore, we must have a complete sentence. We must join 2 complete sentences. So when we have because alone, we need 2 complete sentences also. But when we have because of, we only need a noun. We only need a noun. Okay? So that will be an important part of helping us determine. Okay, so it's saying this is the cause and this is the result. So they have 3 points. So this is the thesis statement. Higher education today has 3 major conveniences. And all of these 3 are nouns: lecture variety, easy research, and time-saving writing methods. Okay, so we have noun, noun, and noun. Okay, okay. I want to talk about the introduction style. Introduction, anyone know what introduction style I'm drawing that this one is? Okay, does anybody know? Well, this is an introduction that we call general to specific. So first we start with a very general sentence. Industrious individuals have continuously created conveniences. This means people invent things in general, all throughout history. Next, we have something a little more specific, which means narrower. From the invention of the wheel to the light bulb, inventions have propelled society forward. So inventions help people. Okay. One recent modern invention is the computer. Now we have something more specific, the computer, especially true in education. And then we have our thesis. So what am I showing you in here? Each sentence in the introduction, it's more and more specific. So the introduction starts with a very general sentence. Okay? Starts general and gets specific. Each sentence becomes more and more specific. It adds more detail and it limits the topic more until finally we get to the thesis, which is the most limited part. Okay, so this kind of introduction is called general to specific. Do you like this? Do you like that style of introduction?
I would like.
Okay. Is it easy to write? What do you think?
It's not easy for me.
Why?
Because it's involving history. Like I should be well versed with the past.
And this one does seem to have history, but you don't have to include history. Like you could say, I think one of the topics I gave you for an example topic is what are the consequences or what are the effects of getting married young? Getting married young. So if you were going to write about that, you would say, you could start by writing about getting married. And then you could talk about the age of getting married. And then you could talk about being young. And then you could talk about the effects of that. Does that make sense? So it doesn't always have to be history. It just has to go from like a very general, and each next sentence has to kind of make it smaller or add another detail. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
To some people, yes. To some people, no. Or maybe it's hard to do, but it's like, I mean, it's not hard to do, but like it makes sense, but it's harder to do. Okay. So
it makes sense. Here's my question. You said you
Yes.
talk about age, then you talk about being young. When you
Yeah.
say you talk about age, is that, are you meaning that I talk about the right age when a person should get married? Because
This is how,
even
okay, I'm
here,
going to show how I might do it. Okay. And there's more than one way to do this. Okay. You can say marriage is an important part of many people's lives. Okay.
don't like family.
Some people get married when they are young, or some people get married when they are older, but others get married when they are young. Okay, now we can say young marriage is common, but it is not always easy. There are three consequences. There are three consequences of getting married young. Okay, so now you can see the first sentence is super general about marriage. The second one is a little bit more specific because it says some people are old, some people are young. Now we talk only about young marriage, and then we get to our thesis statement. Okay, now if you were writing this topic, different topic obviously that we're not writing, but if you were writing, guys, the young marriage topic, would you write about the positive consequences, the negative consequences, or both? What would you like to write?
For me,
Negative.
I will write both because it is kind of, yeah, I will write both. I will write both the advantages and the disadvantages.
Okay, yeah, and that's fine. So when the topic is general and it just says like, what are the consequences? So if the question, it is general, what are the consequences of getting married young? Then you can write the positive, the negative, or a mix.
What if,
But if the question says, what are the disadvantages? Then you have to only write the negatives. Okay, or if it says, what are the advantages? Then you have to write only the positive. Is that okay? All right. Okay, so let's go back to looking at the essay. I'm not sure if we'll have time to look at every body paragraph, but we'll at least look at a few of them because they're very nicely written.